A Stoic does not build on shifting sand, but seeks steadier ground. Yet even what feels solid in life can shake. Elections, wars, economic collapse, illness, betrayal. These moments remind us how fragile our plans and routines can be. The world changes without asking. What do we do then? How do we remain clear and useful when the ground beneath us feels uncertain? For the Stoics, uncertainty was never a surprise. It was the very condition of life. They did not assume safety or permanence. They trained themselves to be steady within disorder. Their strength was not about controlling events, but about disciplining themselves to move through them well, to endure without retreating, to stand firm without being unyielding, to live with clarity even when the future is hidden in fog. There will be storms. There will be difficult choices. The future will often feel unpredictable or even unfair, but your role does not change. Your values do not change. Your preparation becomes your anchor, and the actions you choose with care become your ground. That is what this journey is about. Meeting uncertainty the Stoic way. Step by step, we will explore the tools, the mindsets, and the reminders that can help you stay upright in the storm. This is not optimism. It is not pessimism. It is precision. It is the practice of keeping your mind aligned when the world misaligns. Chapter 1. Anticipation. Seneca wrote, "All the terms of the human lot must be before your eyes." This is the beginning of Stoic preparation, not to create anxiety, but to rehearse clarity. The Stoic does not wait for the storm to begin training. He assumes it will come, that people will falter, that power will shift, that markets will collapse, that health will decline, and he prepares not for control, but for response. This practice is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. You walk through what might happen. You picture the scenarios. You notice the emotions they stir, and then you return to what remains in your control. Done daily, this is not a ritual of worry, but meant of steadiness. It builds space between the event and your reaction. It strengthens composure where others might panic. It cannot remove risk, but it can shape your response. For the Stoic, the difference between fear and foresight is clear. Fear clouds judgment and exaggerates danger. Foresight brings calm. It shines a quiet light on possibilities so that when they arrive, you are ready to meet them with steadiness. Each time you pause to consider what might go wrong, you are not feeding anxiety. You are strengthening steadiness. You are giving yourself space to think before pressure arrives. This kind of preparation shapes your reactions. It creates distance between what happens and how you choose to respond. It allows you to remain centered while others are swept into disorder. The Stoics called this practice premeditatio malorum, a quiet rehearsal of possible misfortunes. It was never meant as a ritual of worry, but as a training in clarity. To imagine what could go wrong is not to surrender to despair, but to sharpen discipline. It is a way of meeting difficulty already aware of the ground beneath you. To practice this, make it a habit. Perhaps once a week, set aside time without distraction. Take a journal or a blank page. Divide your life into its main areas: family, health, work, finances, society. Under each, write what might go wrong, not in dramatic language, but with honesty. Keep the focus on possibility, not catastrophe. Then ask, if this happened, what would I do? You are not trying to erase difficulty. You are preparing to meet it with clarity. You are identifying useful actions. You are checking whether your response would remain in line with your principles. Far from weakening the spirit, this strengthens it. It replaces vague worry with clear awareness. With repetition, your mind begins to change. The future may shift, but it will no longer catch you unprepared. Plans may collapse, yet you will not collapse with them. You stop relying on the world to remain stable and begin relying on your ability to remain steady. When the unexpected arrives, you will remember that you walked this road before, even if only in thought. You rehearsed your response. You shaped your priorities in advance. You chose your values before the test arrived. This rehearsal becomes a shield. It allows you to act instead of react, to stand firm while others scatter. This is the Stoic approach, not predicting the future but preparing for its uncertainty. It is a practice available to anyone in any season of life. You cannot control what comes, but you can choose to face it with structure already in place. Let this become a quiet rhythm in your life. The world will remain uncertain. Your mind does not have to. Chapter 2. The Inner Citadel. Epictetus taught that what truly belongs to us, our reasoning mind, our capacity to choose, cannot be harmed by anything outside our control. He called this ruling faculty the hegemonicon. It is the citadel within. When the world trembles, this is where you return. You cannot stop the wave, but you can strengthen the wall. That wall is your discipline. It protects your character. It shapes how you see. It creates a pause before impulse takes hold. The Stoic builds this inner citadel gradually, brick by brick. He does not wait for calm days to begin. He strengthens it daily through habits that train his judgment. Through journaling, he reviews his steps. Through reflection, he examines his thoughts. With restraint, he learns to guide his impulses. Through quiet self-inquiry, he measures his actions against his principles and asks whether they remained aligned. This inner structure becomes essential when life's patterns break, when routines collapse, when plans shift suddenly, when the familiar is no longer available. Your inner framework remains. You can still pause. You can still reflect. You can still return to what endures. Your values. They guide when external order offers none. Each day invites simple but serious questions. Did I act justly toward others? Did I show patience? Did I remain steady under strain? These questions become rails that keep you close to your principles. This is Stoic self-governance, not imposed from outside, but chosen from within. A strong citadel has flexibility in its design. It adjusts to conditions without losing its shape. Jobs may change, locations may shift, tasks may evolve, yet duty remains. You do not hand control to fear. You do not give judgment away to panic. You adapt, but you do not abandon your principles. When uncertainty rises, the Stoic does not seek stability in what he cannot command. He turns inward. He centers on the one part of life that is fully his own, his mind. He keeps it clear of resentment, free of panic, steady in reasoning. This clarity becomes a compass when the road ahead is obscured. You hold to your process. You lean on your values. You refine your choices with wisdom rather than confusion. The Stoic does not expect perfect control. He expects the need for practice. He trains in ordinary times so that he can remain effective in difficult ones. He protects his time and energy by staying rooted in this inner framework. The citadel is not an escape. It is a foundation. It supports careful thought, disciplined action, and steady resilience. Make this practice part of your rhythm. Check your thoughts. Review your actions. Realign with your principles. Over time, this shapes a structure you can trust. The world outside may shift, but the one within can remain strong. Chapter 3. Define your duty. In moments of chaos, people often ask, "What should I do?" The Stoic prepares the answer in advance. He has thought carefully about his roles. He has defined his duties, and so when disruption comes, he returns to them without hesitation. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Do what needs to be done, even if no one notices." This is the posture that endures in uncertainty. You may not know what tomorrow will bring, but you can know what is required of you today. Duty is shaped by roles: parent, partner, citizen, colleague, leader, neighbor. Each carries its own expectations. The Stoic does not wait for calm conditions to act well. He acts well because it is right to do so. When you take the time to define your duty, you reduce confusion. You give yourself a foundation for action. You no longer wait for the world to stabilize before you move. You begin from clarity instead of hesitation. This practice focuses your mind. It narrows your attention to what is required of you in the present moment. With duties clearly stated, you remove the fog of doubt. You stop asking, "Should I act?" and begin asking, "How do I act well?" You no longer leave the choice to passing emotion. You return to your position, your role, and your principles. You bring your response into alignment with what matters most. In this way, you create calm even when your environment is in disorder. Structure emerges through deliberate action. To apply this, pause to write down your roles. Begin with the ones that shape your daily choices: family, friendship, work, citizenship, community. For each, define what it means to act well. Keep it practical. What behaviors reflect integrity? What decisions demonstrate responsibility? Think in actions, not abstractions. As a parent, it may mean patience in conflict and consistency in discipline. As a colleague, it may mean honesty and reliability under pressure. As a citizen, it may mean staying informed, voting, and contributing to the well-being of your community. These responsibilities become steady points. They do not shift when circumstances do. Return to them often. Let them serve as reminders. When pressure builds or plans collapse, you do not need a grand strategy. You need one clear step that reflects your role. Duty cuts through hesitation. It restores order to thought. It simplifies confusion. The Stoic does not endure uncertainty by prediction, but by purposeful movement. He continues with what must be done, even when the future is clouded. This posture builds strength. It shows others that you are reliable. It signals that you will carry your part even when others falter. Consistency builds trust, first within yourself, then among those around you. People recognize steadiness when it is tested through action. They see that you are not swayed by noise or pulled by panic. They learn to rely on your calm presence because it is proven, not proclaimed. Acting from duty creates order. It simplifies priorities. It gives you a reason to keep moving without haste, a rhythm without restlessness. It prevents emotions from taking command of your choices. When you know what is expected of you, there is no need for guesswork. You apply judgment. You act with intention. Each time you act from duty, you reinforce your character. You become steadier in who you are and what you represent. The practice brings stability across changing conditions. It also offers peace, because you know your actions align with your values. Even when results are delayed, uncertain, or unseen, you continue. You let your roles define your responsibilities, and you let those responsibilities guide your actions. Principles decide your direction. This is how the Stoic advances when the road ahead is hidden. Chapter 4. Act without depending on outcome. Much of life will always remain beyond your control. Outcomes are shaped by timing, by others, by nature, by chance. The Stoic does not anchor his peace in these things. He anchors it in effort. This is not easy. From an early age, we are taught to measure success by results. Did it win? Did it pay off? Did it bring reward? The Stoic shifts the measure. He asks instead, did I act with virtue? Did I prepare with care? Did I stay true to principle? When the future is clouded, outcomes are fragile. This is when the Stoic discipline becomes most necessary. You keep working, you keep preparing, you keep practicing restraint and clarity. You do not wait for guarantees. You take each step with intention. You base each action on principle. You pause before reaction. You assess, then you act. If conditions shift, you adapt your methods but not your values. You remain flexible in approach but firm in character. You keep moving with purpose, even when the destination fades from view. Your steps remain steady. You do not freeze simply because the result is uncertain. You recognize that outcomes belong to many forces, but action belongs to you. So, you do your part well. You complete the task before you. You take the next step that reflects discipline. In this way, your actions hold meaning even if results do not meet your hopes. Living this way preserves your inner order. It prevents the world's disorder from entering your mind. When plans collapse, you do not collapse with them. You return to the process that guided your choices. You ask, was this consistent with reason? Did it reflect my values? Even if the outcome disappoints, the steadiness of your effort brings peace. Satisfaction grows from doing your work well. Strength grows from consistency. When results are delayed or disrupted, you can still know this. You did what was right. That knowledge protects you from discouragement. It gives you the strength to continue even when progress is slow or uncertain. It allows you to endure setbacks with clarity rather than confusion. To support this mindset, keep a journal, not as a record of outcomes, but as a record of effort. Write down the decisions you made. Note what you chose to focus on. Describe the situations that tested your judgment. Reflect on whether you remained aligned with your values. Pay attention to what was within your control and how you responded to pressure. Notice the moments you remained calm and the moments you lost focus. Both become lessons. Over time, this journal builds clarity. It strengthens the connection between intention and action. It develops your capacity to remain steady through uncertainty. Resilience does not appear suddenly. It is built through repetition. Each time you choose discipline under unstable conditions, you grow confidence in your own process. You learn to trust your reasoning. You learn to rely on your ability to stay composed. This is how the Stoic endures outcomes that remain unclear. He strengthens what is within reach. He chooses his response with care. He builds resilience by focusing on effort. Over time, this becomes a foundation that does not crack when the future is uncertain. Chapter 5. Stay in the present frame. Uncertainty often pulls the mind into the future. Questions multiply. What if it gets worse? When will it end? How long will this last? These thoughts consume energy that could be used for action. The more they grow, the less remains for what matters now. Focus scatters. Clarity fades. The Stoic narrows the lens. He brings his mind back to the present. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't let your imagination be crushed by life as a whole. Stick with the situation at hand." This is not a projection of planning. It is a commitment to act, where action is possible. Staying present is a strategy for effectiveness under pressure. It keeps attention from racing ahead. It directs energy to what can be done now. This allows you to move forward without rushing, engaged in real responsibilities rather than imagined outcomes. Your responsibility lies in what is before you. This is where discipline applies. When attention is pulled into too many unknowns, it loses sharpness. You regain control by bringing it back to this task, this conversation, this hour dot. You act based on facts, not projections. In practice, this means breaking challenges into smaller parts. Identify one step that aligns with your values. Do that step with care. Then pause. Reassess. Choose the next step. This rhythm creates structure. It replaces confusion with deliberate movement. The mind often responds to instability by trying to solve what has not happened yet. The Stoic resists this pull. He anchors himself in the present, steady, aware, and ready. The mind often projects forward, searching for answers that are not yet available. Questions repeat themselves, forming loops. The more you try to resolve the unknown in your head, the more energy you spend without gaining clarity. Focus drifts from what is present and possible. The Stoic trains against this tendency. He notices when the mind wanders and he brings it back. He does not chase answers that cannot yet be acted upon. Instead, he returns to the responsibilities of the moment. He asks, "What is required of me now?" This question gives shape to his thinking. It prevents confusion from spreading. He creates boundaries for the mind, choosing where attention begins and ends. Time and energy are treated as limited resources, not to be wasted on worry. When the mind circles the same unanswered questions, he interrupts the cycle and redirects it toward action. Action must be visible, immediate, and within reach. He makes decisions from facts, not speculation. This is not avoidance. It is preparation. It conserves strength, steadies emotions, and keeps judgment clear. The more often you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Each time you ask, "What is required now?" you bring the mind back to discipline. When overwhelmed by all that could go wrong, reduce the problem to a single step. Carry it out. Then repeat the question. This rhythm restores clarity. Small actions done with intention create forward movement. They keep the day from unraveling into hesitation. Over time, this practice becomes automatic. You learn to create order without waiting for external stability. Others may stall in speculation, but you continue with steady action. You meet change with structure. You remain grounded where others scatter. This rhythm builds confidence. It makes your work useful, consistent, and sustainable, even in disorder. This is how the Stoic responds to instability. He focuses on presence. He commits to the task at hand. By doing what is required now, he prepares himself for what comes next. Step by step, he builds a way forward, grounded in reason, guided by responsibility. Chapter 6. Control your response, not the environment. In uncertain times, external events grow louder and more disruptive. The temptation is to try to manage every variable. But the Stoic knows he cannot control the storm. He can only control how he stands within it. People often seek comfort through control. They try to predict every outcome, arrange every detail, and shape the world around them. Yet most of life lies beyond personal command. The Stoic understands this. He turns his attention inward toward his perceptions, his choices, and his habits. This is not passivity. It is concentration. He directs his will where it can be effective. He trains his mind to respond with clarity. even in unstable conditions. When events grow unpredictable, the instinct may be to do more, but action without alignment only creates noise. To act with purpose, the Stoic distinguishes what belongs to him from what does not. He draws the line between effort and outcome, between role and reaction, between what can be shaped and what must be accepted. This discipline is practiced daily. You choose how to speak, how to behave, how to interpret what occurs. But you do not choose who listens. You do not control how others act. You decide how you show up. This is the heart of the practice, refining your response. Delays, setbacks, and misjudgments will come. The Stoic endures them without collapse. He observes what has shifted, identifies his part, and re-engages. His peace does not rest on circumstances. It rests on the steady execution of reasoned choice. To apply this, create a pause between event and action. In that space, ask, what is within my authority now? What response avoids waste? Which decision reflects my principles? Then act. If conditions change, adjust. If pressure rises, return to your breath. Return to clarity. This is the core of Stoic discipline. Mastering your response when the world itself cannot be mastered. Training comes through repetition. Reflection corrects your course. Action is directed where it can be effective. What lies beyond your role, you learn to release. Over time, this builds inner strength. It guards your focus. It keeps you steady, even when the environment shifts rapidly. Chapter 7. Expect disruption. Remain useful. Disruption is not an exception. It is part of nature. It arrives through illness, failure, disaster, or unrest. It breaks routines. It exposes dependencies. The Stoic does not expect comfort. He expects interruption, and he prepares to stay useful within it. When others panic, the Stoic asks where he can contribute. He looks for what the moment requires. He sets aside emotion and remains committed to action over noise. His aim is not control, but contribution. Challenges are no longer seen as unfair burdens, but as invitations to act with purpose. Instead of seeking someone to blame, he asks, what can I do that is of use right now? You begin by identifying the task that aligns with your role. Circumstances may limit your options, but they cannot remove your ability to respond with integrity. Remaining useful starts with attention. You observe your surroundings deliberately. You resist the urge to disconnect or shy away from what is uncomfortable. You place your focus on the present conditions. You notice what is missing, disorganized, or in need of repair. You define the issue clearly. You examine it. You break it into manageable parts. You prepare your response according to what is possible. This process restores order where disorder has taken root. It creates stability not only for yourself, but also for those around you. Your actions set a visible standard of clarity and calm in situations that may feel chaotic. Others see this and find a model for steady behavior. Usefulness, however, also requires humility. You will not always hold the answers. You do not need the spotlight to be valuable. The Stoic adapts to the moment. Sometimes you lead, other times you assist. In every role, you act where you can contribute most. You evaluate what is effective. You offer support quietly. You speak when it serves the purpose. The focus remains on the common good, not recognition. This approach preserves cohesion. It reduces tension. It allows families, teams, and communities to stay focused on shared effort rather than personal standing. To cultivate this mindset, begin each day with a simple inquiry. What is the environment around me? What problems are visible? What useful role can I take? Then, notice where effort is missing. Step into that gap. It may be a small gesture, a message sent, a room tidied, a silence filled with calm reassurance. It may be a task that requires time. The value comes from the act itself, not the response it receives. Do the work quietly, without waiting for approval. Let the act itself measure usefulness. When a task needs attention and you can do it well. Then move to the next. This practice strengthens your ability to remain grounded in purpose and deliberate action. It frees you from the frustration that comes from unmet expectations. The world will remain uncertain. Conditions will continue to change without warning. Stability may not return as expected. Patterns may remain broken for long stretches. External structures may shift without notice. Still, usefulness is always available. The need for reliable action never disappears. In every situation, there are tasks that preserve stability. There are actions that give shape to the moment. There are roles that prevent further collapse. Some bring food, others clarity, others calm. Each is a necessary form of contribution. There are always ways to be useful. The Stoic seeks them without waiting to be asked. He understands that usefulness is measured by impact, not attention. Even when the broader situation is unclear, there are small, specific acts that hold value. A broken process can be improved. A confused group can be centered. A neglected responsibility can be carried. By remaining prepared to contribute in these ways, you avoid drifting into helplessness. You anchor yourself in what can be done. You focus on your part, however small it may seem. This approach creates movement where others are stuck. When people freeze or fall into despair, deliberate effort becomes all the more visible. The person who stays ready becomes someone others can rely on. You set the pace for recovery, even if it is slow. Disorder is reduced not by fixing everything, but by acting with intention. You remain aligned with your role while others react emotionally. You create purpose within disruption. This mindset does not depend on ideal circumstances. It does not wait for certainty. It relies on internal readiness. When you commit in advance to being useful, you act as soon as the opportunity arises. You step forward without hesitation. You take on what others avoid. You direct attention to what helps. This brings clarity to your own thinking. It also sets an example for others. When someone works without seeking approval, others notice. When someone stays focused while others panic, trust grows. Over time, this steadiness spreads discipline and improves morale. The result is not only personal resilience, but collective improvement. A single steady example can stabilize a room, a family, or a team. Usefulness protects your inner resources. It narrows attention to what matters. It keeps you from wasting time on speculation or blame. It shifts focus from outcomes to contribution. It strengthens purpose. It provides an anchor when everything else feels uncertain. This is how the Stoic remains active during crisis. He observes his environment carefully, noting changes in pace, tone, and need. He sees what is missing and prepares to respond. He does not wait for direction before engaging. He applies attention to what can be done now. He does not allow uncertainty to paralyze judgment. He selects the next task with care and carries it out fully. He organizes his thinking before offering help. He remains available without seeking attention. His actions are guided by responsibility, not status. He fills the role that supports the structure, whether visible or unseen. This allows him to remain focused when others drift. He does not withdraw when conditions shift. He observes what needs support and takes the steps that strengthen the whole. He preserves his energy by limiting distractions. He protects his discipline through simplicity. Each act of clear, deliberate response reinforces his internal rhythm. This rhythm is not rigid. It is shaped by the demands of the moment. The Stoic adapts without losing purpose. He follows clarity, not urgency. He stays present with his task. He keeps his actions tied to what is useful. This creates steady forward motion. Even if progress is slow, it is consistent. Even if others pause or falter, he continues. Peace for the Stoic is not based on outcome. It emerges from self-governed behavior, from the quiet confidence born of effort made with integrity. It is the stability that comes from acting according to principles rather than impulses. Through usefulness, the Stoic reclaims his place in the world around him. He remains part of the solution. He protects his purpose by acting where action is needed most. This is how he sustains direction in crisis. He does not wait for calm to return. He becomes the calm through the choices he makes. He maintains order within his own conduct. He moves forward with intention and precision. He reinforces his values through consistent effort. He contributes where others hesitate. He leads through action. In this way, he moves with intention, guided by duty and anchored in discipline. Chapter 8. Endure with character. Endurance is more than waiting. It is maintaining your standard of behavior through difficulty. It is the will to act with discipline when conditions offer no reward. The Stoic endures with character. He does not bend his values to match circumstances. He carries them through hardship. In uncertain times, many shift their behavior. Some abandon what they know is right for immediate gain. Others grow bitter or silent. The Stoic holds to his principles. He speaks measuredly, acts thoughtfully, and aligns his motives with his values. This does not make hardship easier, but it preserves self-respect. Character is revealed under pressure. The more intense the environment, the clearer your behavior becomes. Decisions made in ease carry less weight than those made under strain. When you face resistance, your discipline shows. When time is short or resources scarce, your instincts appear. These moments do not create character. They reveal what has been cultivated over time. This is why the Stoic repeats foundational practices. He builds skill in calm conditions so he can act with precision under stress. Courage is formed through regular trials. Moderation is shaped by daily restraint. Justice is confirmed through consistent fairness. Wisdom is tested through choice. Endurance also requires order. It does not arise from emotion alone. It depends on a framework that supports clarity and steadiness. This is why rhythm matters. It shapes your behavior, steadies your mind, and sustains your character when the world grows turbulent. Morning practices sharpen the mind before the day begins. Physical training strengthens resolve through movement. Stillness in the afternoon soothes the nervous system. Evening reflection reveals progress and error. These repeated behaviors keep the mind aligned. They create space to think clearly and decide deliberately, even when external pressures demand speed or reaction. The Stoic understands that endurance has limits. Pressure, stress, and difficulty cannot be carried indefinitely without rest. He knows that no condition is permanent. Pain may not end quickly, but it will change. Circumstances shift. The phase of hardship eventually moves into something new. Time alters conditions, even when progress feels slow or uncertain. The Stoic prepares to meet each moment of difficulty with consistency. knowing that how he acts under pressure shapes his long-term mindset. Every choice made in strain contributes to an internal record. Each act of patience, every maintained discipline, reinforces patterns that guide future action. Your mind retains these decisions. Habits strengthened during high stress do not vanish once the crisis ends. They become part of your character and shape how you face the next test. The way you speak in tension, handle tasks, maintain relationships, all reflect your training. These actions form a lasting record of how you meet adversity. Reflection is essential. At the end of each day, pause to evaluate your behavior. Ask whether you met challenges with focus. Examine how you responded to difficulty. Identify whether your words helped or added confusion. Consider whether your decisions were grounded in your values or swayed by emotion. Track your ability to remain clear and steady. This practice is not about guilt. It is a framework for improvement. Recognize moments of strength. When you see something that could be improved, plan a new response for the next day. This slow, steady refinement maintains clarity through ongoing stress. Endurance becomes reliable strength when paired with reflection. Each time you remain present, fulfill your duties, and uphold your principles, you prove that your discipline is real. External conditions may remain difficult. Support may be limited. Plans may continue to break. Yet your actions remain centered. Repeating this process builds a dependable identity. It makes your choices predictable, in the best sense. Others can rely on your steadiness, and you learn to trust it too. Reliability does not emerge spontaneously. It is reinforced through consistent action over time with patient attention. The ability to remain steady under pressure becomes a natural part of your approach. You respond clearly without needing conditions to change. You move through responsibility without relying on immediate rewards. You build a durable framework that holds even when instability rises. This is the Stoic path through difficulty. He relies on structure, not mood. He acts according to principle, not approval. He prepares through reflection. He chooses with care and applies what he practices. This approach keeps him aligned when external circumstances shift. His strength shows through consistency. When hardship returns, he does not start from inexperience. He continues from repetition. His actions are shaped by what he has already trained. Each challenge adds to that process. Each response deepens his resolve. Through steady application, the Stoic builds a life that endures beyond crisis, one deliberate decision at a time. Chapter 9. Maintain discipline under distraction. In uncertain times, distractions multiply. News cycles accelerate. Opinions clash. Plans shift quickly. Notifications, headlines, and interruptions scatter attention. People search for updates instead of looking inward. The Stoic does the opposite. He narrows his focus. He strengthens his discipline. Discipline is not created in crisis. It is revealed. In stable conditions, it is easy to maintain a routine. When conditions break down, that routine must be preserved through effort. The Stoic prepares to act with structure even when his environment becomes disordered. He treats attention as a limited resource. He does not give it away carelessly. He chooses where to focus and protects it from intrusion. This does not mean blocking out the world entirely, but managing inputs. Deciding what deserves attention and what does not is essential. Begin each day with clear priorities. Identify the 3 tasks that matter most. Return to them whenever attention is pulled away. Avoid consuming information that only provokes reaction. Choose sources that provide clarity. Choose actions that build strength. When distraction rises, return to your structure. The Stoic sharpens his mind through deliberate habits, movement, stillness, and silence. These are not random preferences. They are tools to structure attention. Movement clears stagnation from the body and heightens awareness. A morning walk or brief training session engages discipline through action. Stillness creates space to observe, evaluate, and focus without interruption. Silence removes the noise that pushes the mind toward reaction. Together. These habits strengthen clarity. The Stoic rises early. The early morning offers fewer distractions and a space for reflection before external demands begin. Rising early sets the tone for a structured and deliberate day. It reinforces priority over passivity. He moves with intention. This is not motion for distraction or entertainment, but for alignment. A deliberate walk becomes a moment to observe the mind, adjust breathing, and organize thought. He practices limits in eating, in speaking, in the use of time. These constraints reduce excess and preserve mental energy. Each small behavior serves a larger purpose. They act as cues, bringing the mind back to its role. They restore control when attention drifts by creating daily rituals around these habits. The Stoic keeps the mind clear. He protects it from becoming overburdened by constant stimulation. These actions reduce clutter, allowing deeper reflection and moments to reset. Repetition strengthens these practices. Each repetition builds consistency. That consistency forms a framework that remains steady even in unpredictable times. Distraction will not disappear. The modern world ensures a constant stream of information, opinions, and entertainment. What matters is not eliminating all input, but managing it with intention. The Stoic guards attention. He observes how each hour is spent. When the mind drifts, he does not follow without question. He notices the pull, pauses, and returns to the task at hand. Each return strengthens control. Each interruption paused instead of indulged is a step toward clarity. You will be pulled in many directions. People will demand responses. Devices will compete for attention. Plans will shift quickly. Focus will weaken. When this occurs, choose to stay with what matters. Identify work that holds value. When your mind wanders, bring it back. When focus breaks, pause and re-enter. When noise fills your surroundings, protect your concentration by reducing unnecessary input. Lower your voice. Slow your movement. Direct your energy toward the task in front of you. Each moment reclaimed is a statement of control. Each hour guarded is an act of preservation. Repeated over time, these actions protect your day from being lost to distraction. They transform chaos into structure. They give you an advantage when others are pulled into reaction. This is how the Stoic maintains focus. He chooses what to engage with and reinforces discipline through simple, repeatable steps. He acts from structure, not urgency. In doing so, he remains steady while others are scattered by interruption. Chapter 10. Return to Principles Daily. In uncertain times, clarity fades quickly. Decisions must be made without full information. Plans often change before they are completed. Emotions rise without warning. These conditions challenge even the most disciplined person. The Stoic meets this challenge by returning to principles each day. Principles are not vague ideals. They are concrete standards of conduct. They guide behavior, anchor judgment, and provide direction when outcomes remain uncertain. The Stoic does not carry every decision in his mind. He carries a small set of values that inform each choice. This allows him to act with purpose even when the path shifts. Daily practice is essential. Each morning, he reflects on how to embody courage, justice, moderation, and wisdom. These are not abstract notions. They are lived through concrete actions. Courage shows in speaking honestly. Justice shows in fulfilling obligations. Moderation shows in resisting excess. Wisdom shows in asking what matters most. In the evening, he reviews his day. He compares his behavior to his principles. He asks whether he stayed aligned. This reflection is direct and practical. It does not dwell on emotion. It checks for accuracy. Where alignment was maintained, he reinforces it. Where it faltered, he identifies the cause and adjusts. This process builds reliability. It replaces confusion with structure. It reduces overthinking. Each day becomes a chance to practice. Each difficulty becomes an opportunity to return to what is stable. The Stoic does not try to predict the future. He prepares to act well, regardless of what comes. To apply this yourself, write down your principles. Keep them concise. Review them each morning to shape your intent for the day. In the evening, ask where they appeared in your actions. Over time, this rhythm fosters mental clarity and consistent behavior. Returning to principles daily is how the Stoic maintains his identity under pressure. It is how he resists being shaped by stress. It is how he remains calm amid uncertainty. Principles provide a fixed point when everything else shifts. Through this practice, he remains steady, one consistent person regardless of circumstance.